Shalom. Shalom to you. If you're tuning in for the first time, I welcome you. My name is Symmanayah, and these messages are to those who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father Yahuah, who acknowledge that his word was manifest in the name of Yahusha. This series, Letter and Spirit, is to emphasize the importance of recognizing that we must depend on the Spirit of Yahuah to make things alive, to make the scripture alive, and not just lean on the text alone. So many people say, show me the script, show me the script. And many oblige, but often we do not hear saying, once you read it, pray about it, pray to discern it. You see, there's a scripture that says the heart is the source of life in Proverbs 4th chapter. But there's a scripture that also talks about the heart being wicked. In one case, it's talking about the mind, the brain, how we can be mentally conditioned, how the flesh war against the spirit. In another case, it's talking about the inward man. But if you just look at the literal heart, you would say this contradicts each other. How can the heart be the source of life and it be wicked? This is why we must lean on the Spirit of Yahuah to make clear, to help us to understand the life that is meant when we read the text and it's made alive. In this series, in this segment, I want to talk about looking good. Looking good. Let's unpack it, my brothers and sisters. Let's examine matters regarding what defines looking good. You see, it is said that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But how many among us have given thought that sometimes we're distracted by what's looking good? It is important that we understand how looking good can have a righteous influence on us. Additionally, looking good can have a dangerous effect on us, a dangerous distraction. Are you in a group where you are attracted to that pastor, that bishop, that moray, that speaker, that influencer? Are you subscribed, or do you follow someone because of a physical attraction? My brothers and sisters, when we seek to be mindful of the whole matter, we recognize looking good can be about attire, personalities, and practices and behaviors. How many of us are aware of the diverse influence appearances can bring? Next time you're in a group of two or more, look at the person, especially if it's two or more. Look around. If it's a group, look around. Sometimes we can see the man behaving in a flirtatious way, or the woman behaving in a flirtatious way because they have their eyes on someone. And if they have their eyes on there, how much attention do you think they are giving to fellowship, exchanging things that help build up the body of Yahusha? When we seek to be mindful of the whole matter, we recognize looking good can be about attire, personalities, and practices and behaviors. What are we going to do about that, my brothers and sisters? Because it can cause us to make mistakes along the way. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, if gone unchecked, there are bad habits that can affect not only the one in the mirror, but others as well. I am not remiss with knowing there are those looking good who demonstrate clean results. Good hygiene and grooming is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm talking about when we put our emphasis and priorities on the looks of a person. If we fail to recognize how we govern ourselves in the way we look in or act, we may find that our behaviors can lead to mistreating one another. Yes, treating all the ones that, quote unquote, look good better than the ones who are poor or who don't mind being poor. They like simple. They like the basics. You see, it's a matter of opinion, but we don't need to have that as a battle, as a rift, as a gap that prevents the unity of a set-apart nation. Yahusha, oh Yahusha, come take a look. Let's look at some scriptures. James 2:1-2 says, my brother, do not hold the belief of our Master Yahusha Messiah, the Master of esteem, with partiality. For if there should come into your meeting place a man with gold rings and a splendid robe, and there should also come in a poor one dressed in rags. It goes on to say, I'm in the 2nd chapter of James. And you pay attention to the one wearing the splendid robe and say to him, you sit here in a good place, and say to the poor one, you stand there or sit by my feet. Have you not discriminated among yourselves and become judges with wicked thoughts? Listen, my beloved brothers, have the Almighty One, it says Elohim, and I read in Esau, but when I see that, I say Almighty One. Has the Almighty One not chosen the poor of this world, rich in belief and heirs of the reign, which he promised to those who love him? Look around next time you're in together and see how well the least dressed person is treated compared to the one flashy. But you have shown disrespect towards the poor man. Do not the rich oppress you and drag you into courts? Do they not blaspheme that good name by which you are called? If you truly accomplish the sovereign law according to the scriptures, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. You do well. Let me continue. But if you show partiality, you commit sin, being found guilty by the Torah as transgressors. For whoever shall guard all the Torah, yet stumble in one point, he is guilty of all. Are we picking and choosing? Do we know how to look for the things that are set apart, to encourage one another, to speak to one another in ways that encourage us to function in unity? Looking good can be a danger, and it can be a compliment. It depends on how we govern ourselves, O Yahusha. We must be cautious not to fall into bad habits. Remember, Galatians 5:9 says a little leaven leavens all the lump. Galatians 5:9 says that. So do we see someone who dress? I've seen fellowships where an individual dress in quote unquote Hebrew garments, and he does it so much and puts so much emphasis and love the attention and love the compliments, to where others in the group and fellowship want to look like him, want to start dressing like him. More focused on looking good than serving and worshiping the Almighty Father. 1 Corinthians 5:7 says, therefore cleanse out the old leaven so that you are a new lump, as you are unleavened. For also Messiah, a Passat, which means Passover, was slaughtered for us. Yasharal, O Yasharal, you may think this subject is not important, but there are many of us distracted. There are arguments, there's jealousy, there's envy, there's strife. Seeds of wickedness are among us at times we least expect it. Although one's tastes and our perceptions may differ from others, we must use wisdom in how we govern ourselves, Yasharal. Some of the divisions among us is due to what some can afford and what some cannot. My brothers and sisters, beware, beyond looking good, there are other items that draw us into relationships. Other things that people flaunt, such as their vehicle, the type of vehicle they have, whether it's a truck, a car, whether it's an electric car, a gas car, motorcycles, boats, yes, even electric scooters, or maybe their apartment or their house. Things that are used as seductive props, instruments. You see, some people want to look good to lure you in, to distract you even more, to pull you away from set-apartness. I'm not saying don't compliment what looks good, but don't be seduced and distracted, O Yasharal. Don't think that the person that has the newest of things, that dress the best, is walking in obedience. They could be, but don't just assume that they, quote unquote, have their act together. It would be wise to begin examining how we use our eyes and senses. Let us establish a ready mind to govern ourselves with more discipline. He who fails to ignore the drawing power of vanity may find themselves victims of predators. Beware of such predators. For such predators exist within many communities, camps, fellowships, groups, and assemblies. We've seen them come and go. Oftentimes, my brothers and sisters, when you see a group that tolerate compromising spirits and behaviors, we'll find those who are vain roaming around. Our eyes are one of the biggest gateways to being influenced by things looking good. Consider these instructions, my brothers and sisters. Some people will be in the wrong place at the wrong time because they was busy staring, following, or chasing after something that looks good. Matthew 5:29 says, and if your right eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out and throw it away from you. For it is better for you that one of your members perish than for your entire body to be thrown into Gehenna, of the word hell. In other words, my brothers and sisters, if we are distracted by what we see, turn away, come away, move it away. That's akin to plucking the thing that gets our attention away from the Almighty Father. Take the initiative to turn, and in some cases, walk away, my brothers and sisters. My brothers and sisters, do not take this message lightly. There are many led astray because they follow things looking good, and others follow them. Have discussions about what looks good, what's attractive to you, what is it doing as it relates to your service to the Almighty Father, your worship and obedience to Him. You see, my brothers and sisters, Matthew 24th chapter speaks of being led astray. Do we really want to fall prey to things looking good, but are wicked? Not everything looking good is wicked. Hear me out. But always seek to discern the influences of things that attract our attention, lest we find ourselves in the wrong place at the wrong time for such a time as this. Rise up, O set-apart family. The time is now to be focused, to zero in on the things that the Almighty Father will have us to focus on. The time is now to place the influences of looking good in check. Sure, it's okay for things to look good, but let us not be infatuated, distracted, start carrying ourselves in ways to flirt, to seduce, to get our attention off of the things we should be doing. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. Somebody will miss the boat. Some will miss that journey because they're busy staring at what looks good, or they don't want to let go of what looks good. Have the discussion about looking good. Have the discussion about being disciplined. Have the discussion of the different behaviors that sometimes infect our fellowships, our groups, because of the roving eye or the roving eyes. My brother, my sister, my family, if I said something to jolt your attention or to give you something to pray about in the good sense, consider subscribing, share, like. Let's take advantage of YouTube's algorithm and share things that you may have gotten that are good with others. And by sharing this channel, others might discover some messages that benefit them that they end up sharing with you, maybe at a time of need. Enough said, my brothers and sisters. We who are the children of Yahuah will find that all the tools he's placed before us, we will learn how to use them and use them effectively, according to his will, his desire. My prayer is that we grow to discern his voice and know it with precision, that we study and begin to identify how the scriptures are made alive by the teachings of the Almighty Father, who sent his Spirit in Yahusha's name. On that note, I thank you. I salute you. I salute your patience. I salute your pursuit of set-apartness. On that note, to you, my brother, my sister, my family, Shalum.